Please turn your listening devices all the way up.
Ooh.
That was filthy.
I'm just watching you guys like we're all just like bobbing our heads. That was awesome.
Heck yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed that.
Yes, indeed.
Thanks for coming to the stream. We'll see you guys later.
I know.
All right.
It was just really
See you
for
guys
all of us
next
to
time.
watch that. Yeah, obviously this great line here from our very own Strike here on the panel from the trailer today from the Book of Boba. Super fun trailer. I'm actually excited for it. I wasn't planning on watching it, to be honest. But then I thought they were going to spoil stuff, and I didn't want it spoiled. And I think they did fantastic.
Yeah.
Not spoiling it.
I think they did better than in the Mando season 2 trailer. I think that one was a bit too less everything.
Mm-hmm.
I think they had a good balance of like not giving away anything.
Yeah.
But at the same time building up hype.
Yeah, 100%, dude. It was really good, but just got me thinking. I'm excited for Book of Boba, and we did this before with Shapeshifter and T Money. And we did a part 1, and we'll do part 2, and kind of just talking all things Boba, and essentially what do you want to call it? The motto, I guess, we'll have for these life and lore streams is head canon is the best canon. So what that means is who knows what we're going to cover, what we're going to talk about. Some people may leave certain aspects out. Others may focus on others, but yeah, we'll do it. And hello, sir. Hello, Matt Risman.
Hello there.
Good to have you here. Good, sir. Yeah, and I know Mondays are always, it's like competing with the big boys. You know, there's some big guys, but I was like, you know what, this is the time we have free.
That's
just chat.
What are you talking
for
about?
Boba.
Big boys.
I know.
Big boys.
I know. We are the big boys. Technically the Zexies.
These them Zexies.
What's up, Aiden? How's it going? Well, for you guys, we did part 1, like I said, with Shapeshifter and T Money, but let's oh, that's so good.
So great.
You had to clarify with the mustache. It's looking good, man. Coming in nice and thick.
It's so light. I have a blonde mustache. It's insane.
That's funny. Just don't, as long as you don't dye it, just rock it. Don't go get.
I'm gonna rock it. Yeah, I'm not exactly I don't wear chapstick. I'm not a product guy.
Yeah, what do they call that stuff where it's like the just for men? You know, they
Rogaine.
Yeah.
Rogaine?
I don't know. Whatever it is, don't be dyeing your stash.
Yeah.
Hello, Avila.
Hey, what's up?
Good to have you here. Greetings from the future. I always like saying that. Yeah,
Fellow
for you too.
Future.
I seen the trailer yesterday. She's laughing at all of this as we're reacting.
Yeah. What's up, Darth Weavin?
Hey,
how is
Weavin'.
it going? Yo, man. I'm curious if you had what you wore for Halloween. You know, your cosplay is pretty insane. You know, I would love to see it. But getting into Boba for you guys, even just maybe start it out with like, why Boba? Like, why do you like Boba so much? Let's just start there.
I'm gonna bang mine out real quick because I know Strike's got a lot he's got to say here.
Okay, cool.
I think everybody loves him because he was the character that was shrouded in mystery for so long, and we all wanted to know more about Boba Fett. And his intrigue was apparent from the very beginning, because George didn't even think he was going to be a big deal, and everybody's just like, you immediately clicked with this guy, and he's like, oh, well, now I got to kill him, you know. And so to see him reborn and him kind of fleshed out in the Clone Wars, kind of fleshed out in all these comic books and the stories, for us to get more of the Boba we want, to the point where now there's a major multi-million-dollar production where we're getting Boba Fett. I think people are just super excited. And I know I am too. And he's just a BAMF. What more do you want?
Yeah, 100%. Not to just dismiss you and move on. But related note, X-Wing, Darth Weavin, you're an X-Wing pilot. Just went with the more comfortable costume. Nice. Leia Rose, hello.
Hey, what's up,
dude?
Leia?
Yeah, I think.
Oh, there it is. I was like,
I know. I was like,
what did I do wrong?
I'm not gonna say anything.
Isn't it?
No, dude, I totally agree with the mystery. Like, it's hard to remember back to when you first saw characters, you know, at least for me, you know, because like I was so young, like when I first started seeing stuff. But I remember Boba, like I couldn't read his emotions, so to speak, you know, like I couldn't get a gauge on him, and it drew me in. And I'm so glad that there's so much depth and lore, you know, to Boba. And like I just read a comic even today we'll talk about that I haven't read before, that was sweet. You know, and I just love that. But so Mr. Strike, why Boba?
Yes, why Boba?
He's an okay character. I mean,
yeah, right. I mean, there's nothing really special about him. I mean, yeah, not really. Boba, yeah. I mean, the mystery for sure. I mean, you don't really get to see too much of him, in like from episode 1 to 6. I mean, I grew up watching the prequels and then the OT, so I knew young Boba first, then OT Boba, which, I mean, did not change too much because he doesn't have that much screen time, but still. I knew Jango before I knew Boba, so I knew how Jango worked and how his mannerisms were. And it's kind of interesting because, or I don't know, interesting, but it's just like it shows like the attention to detail that George and like everyone that worked on the prequels like put into the work and the production, because the mannerisms really translated well into what Jeremy Bulloch was acting like as Boba. Like just the mannerisms, like very subtle, but like if there was like a threat or if there was action, it was like a really quick movement and it was just like done deal. And yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure. Like, I don't know, it's like the subtle things. Like, I think one of my favorite Boba moments from the OT, seriously, is just when they're in the carbonite chamber and Chewie breaks free. Like, you just see Boba instantly like getting his EE free up, and like Vader's just like, hey, come on, I know you want, now calm down.
He was ready to blast, dude, for sure.
It would have rained Wookiee cookies if Vader would have stopped him.
That's funny, man.
Yeah, no, but I don't know. I mean, Boba just really translated well with me. I don't know. I mean, obviously because he looked cool. I mean, not gonna deny that, but I don't know. He was just a mysterious character. I mean, I was always like, even as a kid, I was like, he didn't die in the Sarlacc pit. Like, not buying it.
Yeah.
And then like later on, I read in comics, and it was sort of hinted and like sort of alluded to the fact that yes, he did pretty much probably survive. I was like, yeah, he survived for sure. Yes. And
just like Mace. Really gone.
Possibly. But yeah, I don't know. Really translated well with me, and maybe even also the fact that Boba didn't seem to be too much of a universally fan favorite. So it was kind of like, oh yeah, if you're Boba fan, you know why he's cool, like you know what's up. Like everyone else is like, he doesn't really do anything. You think so?
Yeah, dude, you murked Luke Skywalker. Like,
yes,
yeah,
that is a scene that I think many people are like, well, he just shot the corner. Well, he baited Luke. I mean, he fucking baited a.
No, I'm talking about a comic
Jedi.
scene where he straight up like gats him and leaves him on the floor, like hardcore.
Yes,
yeah,
for sure.
And let me ask you this. Hello, Blue. Good to have you here, brother.
Puppet.
Hello there.
Hello, sir.
Poppets.
Hello.
Your accent, dude. I know it's not an accent for you, but your accent to me just makes everything so much better. Like you could just be reading the news and it would just be like 100 times better.
Well, thank you. Boba Fett's a badass, Vader's a badass, Chase is a badass, X-Wing's a badass, Strike's the homie. Let's go.
That's awesome. What's up, Alpha Sky Fox? Oh, you're saying hello to Aiden, not even to me.
I mean, okay.
I
skipped.
pretty
Sexy.
I totally just was like, oh, that's got to be to me. Okay. Well, I want to show this
YouTube thing too long. You're like, oh, that's clearly for me.
That's for me.
I got 2,500 subs. How it is not for me?
I know, right? I'm the big time now. But no, there's a comic I just read today, and I'll pull it up, some pictures in a moment. But I read Enemy of the Empire. I don't know if you guys have read that. It's a Boba comic. So basically it's Boba's first mission. I don't know if mission's the right word. His first commission, commission with Vader.
Yep.
And so basically what it is it gets into the realm of like Star Wars comics weird, but basically Boba is commissioned to go kill this one guy and to get this casket that he has, and he can't look in the casket. And I won't spoil it if anybody wants to look into it, but it's really well known because what ends up happening is Vader goes down and Boba and Vader fight, and X-Wing, how you said, Boba like puts Luke on the ground. Like in this, like Boba's going toe to toe with Vader and straight up like shoots him square dead in the temple and puts Vader on the floor.
Yes.
But then it ends up backfiring. But it's like, dude, that's pretty intense.
Do you know which one it is? Do you have a picture of the cover?
Yeah, kind of. I have picture of cover art.
It's cover with Boba and Vader.
So yeah, so number 3 is I think it's number 3 or number 4.
Yeah,
so
right. That's the one.
That's like the cover.
Damn. When did that come out?
99. I think.
That's
I don't
a
have that.
while ago. Yeah.
But yeah, so it's in the omnibus or whatever, however you pronounce that. But this is pretty cool. I wanted to show you guys this. Well, one, I thought this was fun. Fun. I mean, it's kind of dark to say it's fun, but here it's like this like photo booth where like these people are following Boba and they find him dead. So like Boba just like here's the interaction with them, and Boba like kills him and takes pictures of him. Like it's just so crazy. But
it's so fun.
But here's something. This is where I thought it was like pretty cool, because you have Boba, and he's firing after this guy, and this whole thing where it's like, this guy can't get to him, but then this Abal Karda, you have been declared enemy of the Empire. I have a warrant for your execution. Just like how terrifying that would be. But then here's like, this is like the one where you have like he's firing at Vader. Vader's deflecting. All this crazy stuff is happening. There's like these monks. And
See,
yeah,
Kylo Ren wasn't the first.
Yeah, he wasn't the first. But yeah, so that was a super fun comic. I really enjoyed it. But Blue, for you, good sir, why Boba? I know that's a loaded question, but just to get things rolling, why Boba for you?
Boba for me? What do you mean, like over bounty hunters
I guess just in general,
or
like if we're
Star Wars?
talking about like why Boba, it's like I think there's some characters like Anakin, like how can you not like Anakin, you know? But then there's characters
'Cause
like
he's
Boba
whiny.
where but then there's characters like Boba that are maybe like I don't want to say hit and miss, but it seems like the Boba fans are intense. And if you're not really a Boba fan, it's just kind of
Mhm.
like yeah, he's in Star Wars, So why Boba?
Yeah, because I think he's overlooked because of what Strike said, that in the movie he doesn't do much. You see him bait Luke, and I always loved that he wasn't trying to kill Luke, because if he killed Luke, then he would have to deal with Vader and the Emperor as a consequence.
Mm-hmm.
But he was just this mysterious person you knew nothing about. He had this awesome looking armor, this blaster. He told Vader straight, which I loved, because you saw how even admirals, Tarkin wasn't really scared of him, but all the other Moffs and stuff had fear of Vader, but Boba didn't.
Yeah.
And I loved that. He was this. I'm just going to call him the mysterious stranger, because
Yeah.
that's what he was. So to me, that's what spoke to me for Boba. Like, I didn't really look into much, but then I did, and then I found out that he crawled out of the Sarlacc pit. Like,
Yeah.
Dengar didn't save him from the Sarlacc pit. Dengar found him in I think it was the Dune Sea. I can't remember where he found him, but Dengar didn't pull him out. He just crawled out himself, and I thought that would be awesome to see.
It's alleged that is the first scene of the Book of Boba.
Oh, okay. That's super cool.
I mean, we'll see.
I think the
Plo Koon was going to save everybody at the end of Mando season 2. So
I thought that should have been the first scene, the end of Mando season 2, him killing the Twi'lek and taking the throne.
Bib Fortuna's fat ass. Sorry.
Yeah, actually, he did gain a bunch of weight, didn't he?
Yeah, he definitely took some inspiration from his old master.
Stopped the Curves subscription and just kind of sat on the throne for a while.
Bit too much spotchka. Yeah.
This is interesting, Casual. If you're still here, I would love you to expand upon this. Boba represents a whole section of the galaxy. It sounds really good, but I don't know that I understand it.
I think what he's trying to say is that there's so much going on in Star Wars. There is so much going on, but we've always been kind of focused on this microcosm of the Skywalkers.
Okay. Yeah.
But really, there is this entire, and I mean, I think it says it in the trailer. Like every galaxy has like a seedy underbelly or whatever the text said, or like an underworld. Yeah. And so he kind of represents that entire aspect of it, just the way that, Thrawn represents this whole aspect of the, wild space of the, not the outer rim. What am I thinking? Not wild space, the unknown regions.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also I just had a thought, like why I also really just liked Boba was like in Star Wars that was pretty much like that one family story of the Skywalkers, which was the primary aspect of Star Wars. But then on the side, not that primarily, but still continuing through the entire 2 trilogies, 1 to 6, and it's the Fetts. I mean, that's pretty much like the only other family story arc that like goes through the entire saga together with the Skywalkers,
and a pretty important family story too, right? If you think,
100%. That's a great point. And yeah, look at this, man. Exactly. X-Wing got it.
Looking at it's the most.
Yeah, good sir. What's up, AD? How's it going, man? Yeah, you can't super chat. Yeah, don't let the sub count fool you. Shorts work, but they only work for that number. Let's just say that. Yeah. But hey, I saw Average is here. What's up, man?
What's up, average.
How's it going?
Boba Fett.
Hello, average.
Boba Baguette.
Yeah, and Boba Fett founded the legendary spa. Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
The Polynesian spa.
Yes. But yeah, I mean, X-Wing, you said it. We're kind of all saying it. Casual strike X-Wing. You guys all said it with the Fett family. I mean, what's so interesting? It's like the further back you go, you just see like who. I think Blue, you said it. They're overlooked, but they're just so entwined, into the whole story with Kamino and with the clones. And I mean, honestly, like Attack of the Clones without Jango, like if Obi-Wan didn't like chase down Jango, like a lot of stuff wouldn't happen.
Attempt, everything. He
Agreed.
wouldn't have the cloner planet. Yep.
Yeah.
Did you all play the Bounty Hunter game based on Django?
I get sickness.
It never came to PC, so no. But I watched the playthrough.
I played
Yes,
it, but I didn't finish it.
It's fantastic because I love you get the backstory of like Django, and eventually he gets his jetpack, and then it goes into Lord Tyrannus, tricking everyone, and someone who wanted to be Cypher Diaz and stuff. And that game to me was like, now can we, like, I'm going to say that, like, now can we get a Boba Fett one after the Book of Boba, please? Like on the in-betweens of Clone Wars and A New Hope.
Maybe that's the
if you
open
don't
world.
show like,
maybe your Boba.
Like you don't show, what happened with Cad Bane. Yeah, if you don't show what happens with Cad Bane, give us that in the game so you actually get to play the fight scene.
That'd be cool.
I'm with it.
Yep. I'd be
That'd be
down.
super cool.
Yeah, like the whole thing. Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. I was just going to say what's up to Magneto Alex. We're going to get him on one day. The dude is like an walking EU library. He's just eating this stuff up. And we'll come back to this. Don't know if you discussed it, but Boba is Mandalorian Legends.
Yep. He is.
Yeah. Very, very cool. But what were you saying, Strike?
He is.
Oh, yeah. I really hope that we are going to, at some point, explore the Rome again with Montrose and Jasmine. I think that is definitely something that is still worthy of being farther explored. I mean, most people like that care about that storyline probably know about it, but I think it's something like, especially the whole Mandalorian Wars, and like, I mean, you would get like young Count Dooku as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would just be something worth making a series about, or something similar.
Oh, dude, what, like, this Boba sounds all right. Yeah, he's okay.
Yeah, he's okay.
Yeah, it's, man, there's so much. And, I think this opens up a good question when we're talking about, like, kind of the whole life and lore of Boba. So, when we see Boba in Empire, and you watch it through like the original trilogy, then you have special edition where you have Boba added in A New Hope. And so then you start getting into like prequels and Clone Wars and comics and books way before that. But all of this stuff, when you guys look at the lore for Boba, do you look at like everything continuous, or do you almost view it from like release? Like the when things were released has more weight for you. Like, how do you guys view that? If that makes sense.
Yeah, I understand. Not necessarily. I mean, obviously now with Mando and Book of Boba, we just simply have, or like from like the prequel trilogy and the OT trilogy to Mando, now Book of Boba. I mean, that is sort of a clear and set timeline. I mean, that's obvious. With all the books and stuff, I'd say, I mean, some of it is sort of hit and miss. So I mean, there comes headcanon into play. It's sort of like what makes sense for you. Like that's
Mhm.
sort of like part of the timeline, but like it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with when it was released.
Yeah, for sure.
I had to rip a phone call real quick because I have an Uber driver returning somebody that was at my house's phone from last weekend. But I missed the question. Could you just
Yeah.
rip it quick?
Before the question, let me clarify this. Did you pay an Uber driver to drive an item to someone else? Is that how it's going?
No, this person came to visit and wound up getting too drunk, vomiting in an Uber and leaving their phone there, and then left
Oh.
town, and we had to retrieve the phone.
Oh,
Gotcha.
fun stuff.
Yes. Yes.
It's super fun stuff. And
Yeah.
what's up, Hawks Holocrons?
Hey,
How's it going, man? Hello there.
So what the question was?
Yeah. So the question was especially Star Wars, it gets so complicated with the lore and everything. So when you look at the lore of Boba, do you look at it from like priority lore is from release order? So like the closer you are to the beginning of the character, that lore is more important, because as we're going, and I think even Magneto brought it up, how like even in Lucasfilm there's slight contradictions, in some lore, and then obviously with Disney and Book of Boba, stuff can be, you're not going to have EU and Legend stuff necessarily. So like what holds more weight for you? Because kind of the whole theme, is headcanon is the best canon here. So like for you, what is going to hold more weight? Is it just what's interesting, or is it release date?
So to me, I think the coolest part is that since we have Filoni, we're getting Legends stuff in Star Wars. Even though it was kind of thrown to like, well, that's this, and now we're going to focus on this. And Filoni's like, okay. And then just like slowly reels a couple things in here and a couple other things over here. And, we're starting to get, I don't want to call it a recanonization, but definitely at least nods and at least love for the EU. And so I think what's important to me is that we respect and love that stuff without cheapening it by doing like meaningless cameos. Was just to be like, oh, look, Jodo Cast. Why is he here? Like that doesn't make sense, right?
He has like a 501st bolt hole in his head.
Yeah, stuff like that. I don't want to see anything like that, but just nods and stuff like that. I would really like to see that. I just don't want to see the bastardization of EU material in what they call fan service. I don't think fan service is a bad thing, but for me, the most important thing is that they make an interesting show. They entertain old Star Wars fans, but they also make a show that's accessible for other people to get interested in it. Because if other people don't get interested, I don't think just us, the sweaties, are going to be able to fund an entire Disney campaign to keep making this stuff. So, Filoni and Favreau were walking a thin line of trying to keep, the angry, salty sweaties happy and bringing new people in. And I think they're doing so far a good job. There are a couple, there are a couple beefy points, but that's not the point of this stream.
Yeah. I'd say, I don't know, with the whole like, oh, it's fan service, I'm kind of like,
love fan service.
Why though? Because I mean, as far as I'm concerned with at least like Mando, it always made sense to the story. And like, if this certain character makes sense to be in that scenario, in that story, and it just happens to be that character that people love, is it fan service or is it just a good story and that's why we like it? Like, fan service always for me sounds like, that like a character just blatantly appears because the creators know people like that character, but it doesn't necessarily make sense why he's here. So I'd say like if it makes sense having nods from Boba's past or Jango's past, then and if it makes sense in the story, it's not fan service. It's just flushing out the story. And I mean, that's kind of what they do with like little nods like the chain code and like having Jason Muriel's name before Django's. I mean, it's nothing crazy. Most people probably missed it, and
Yeah.
Right.
but we are like, yep, that's how it is, and like that's nothing crazy, but we are happy.
So I think the difference would be like, I'm almost positive it was Rogue One. I'm trying to remember, but Cornelius, Pigface, Dr. Evazan, or whatever his name was, and Pondo Baba, when they like bump into him and they see him walking through the spaceport, for me, that's completely pointless fan service. It's like,
No,
oh, look, a person that you know.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean that's just like fun. I mean,
yeah, but to
doesn't
me,
change
it's just
anything.
like, it doesn't change anything. But for me in my brain, it ticks me like you're making the universe smaller. Just like, oh, look, a person that you guys knew. Remember that? You've seen the South Park episode, like, remember? Yeah, I remember. Member berries.
Yeah, I
Well-
know. I just
well,
think
what
like, I
about-
think we have a very different way of looking at it, because like when I watched it for the first time, I was just like, no way those guys are here.
Yeah, and I totally get, and I felt the same way. I was like, oh man, check it out. And then I go back to it and I'm like, why'd you do that? You didn't have to do that. You
But
know?
it doesn't hurt anyone. Like it doesn't make it less worth anything, you know?
Yeah, that's fair.
Like
Yeah.
it's fun,
and
but I mean
and that's why we have this. That's why we'll say headcanon is the best canon. And
yeah.
and,
I just
and
like it when it's integrated, if that makes sense.
For sure.
I like it when it's integrated and seamless. Then it's not fan service. This is just the universe that exists.
When it's got a plot.
Right.
Yeah. So what about this? This is a question.
Yeah,
and
it's
I have
just
to be
like
honest, I'm not an expert on this topic by any stretch of the imagination. I've known about this plot for the maybe 12 hours now, to be honest with you, but I'm gonna get the book. I'm gonna dig deep into it. But the whole thing, like we did a reaction trailer and I had no idea what the spider droid was, and people were like, hey, this is what it is, and saying like the security droid part, and then also saying like, hey, like the monks and all of this. So then learning about all this stuff where I'm like, man, I wouldn't say it's like on the level of Boba for me, but it's like I didn't know this stuff is there, right?
What was the security droid thing?
It's just like the actual like spider body. So at the very beginning of the Book of Boba trailer, there's the spider. Yeah. So it's just somebody was saying it's the actual like the spider body, like where it came from, like super super deep technical lore stuff that I've never been able to get into because it's way too complicated for me. But nonetheless, like looking into it with Book of Boba, and I know maybe this is a small tangent for Boba Fett, but it'll be relevant with the show. So you in EU Legends, whatever you want to call it, you have basically these monks where after Jabba dies, they take back Jabba's palace, which is actually their place of solitude, and no one ever takes it back. And there's stuff with Bib Fortuna. There's all this really cool stuff that goes on there. It's a really interesting plot device. But then with Book of Boba, you have a different story. So like the palace is back open and Boba's taking it over. And so it's like with that, it's for you, if like, let's say you hold two stories like that, like you love them both, but then you get to this place where it's contradicting for you guys. And we can just talk about Boba because there's a lot to Boba. Like what starts to take precedent for you guys? We even have this with the I can't even say it. You say it, X-Wing. You can say it.
Bomar.
Bomar. See, I was going to try and complicate it.
Just get rid of the apostrophe and just call it Bomar.
With the Bomar monk skittering across the sand, we were transported back to Tatooine and the palace where Jabba the Hutt once reigned. Okay, so see, using it as that plot device there to kind of bring you back.
I mean, it was their palace.
Yeah, and it looked like a spider running away after stealing some alcoholic beverage.
That's what I was laughing at, snickered at earlier. I'm like, this guy.
Oh, that's funny. But yeah, so for you guys, like especially for all of you here, you know, we like Boba a lot. I would even maybe say we love Boba, And when stuff's coming out that you're enjoying, like Book of Boba, where do you start placing that? If it's not the fan service, if it's like, I like this stuff in my head canon, but I also like this, and they're competing.
Shrike, you want to lead off?
I'm asking because I don't know.
Honestly, I think we could lead off with Blue. I feel like because Cam, it's always hard for him to
I thought he was making a
get
cuppa.
word.
I thought he was making a cuppa.
No, I think it was back.
No, I'm
Ah,
back,
there
darling.
Well, let's say this.
All right.
I don't know. Yeah, Strike, lead off with you.
I think that is like the clear indicator, the very clear indicator that this is where we'll stay.
Well,
So
no,
we'll
I
just
just
be like, it's a difficult question.
The only way I could describe it as like somebody who reads books. Okay, like love a good book, and I've seen movies. Or I'm sorry, I've seen books turned into movies.
Mm-hmm.
One of the ones I always draw a comparison to is the Christopher Paolini Aragon series. I loved that book series. It was like second to Lord of the Rings. I loved that book series. They made it into a movie, and it was pure and utter trash. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess my headcanon is the book. I think for me, the most important thing is that we have to understand that anytime somebody adapts, even a comic to a movie, a book to a movie, or a TV show, it's never going to hit dead on, ever.
Yeah.
It's never going to hit dead on, ever. And so I think what they need to focus on is using the good parts of what we love and creating a new story, and not being the person that says, that's not exactly what I read in the comic. That's not exactly what happened in the book. Like, yeah, some things are going to change. It has to be that way, because even in some of the books we read, you don't understand certain things unless you know certain parts of the lore, and stuff doesn't make sense unless you know certain things. So I think, as much as I would love to say we should keep it closed off and only us sweaties are going to understand the stuff that's happening, they still have to make a TV show. So.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think with Boba, you don't necessarily have too much of a problem with it, because Boba's biggest trait is just simply his character.
Right.
So the thing is, with all the books and stuff and what happens in them, it's sort of closed off. It's mostly like just him going on a certain mission, or like hunting down a certain bounty. And like in that sense, it doesn't matter when it happens. Like, you have that story and you love that story, great. Well, it happened in that time frame. It's sort of like it's not that sort of Luke Skywalker who pretty much at some point like just starts rebuilding the Jedi Order and like does that certain set thing.
Mm-hmm.
With Boba, you're more free, so it's kind of easy to just be like, okay, so that, like what they show in the TV show, that happens in that time frame. What I read in that book, I'm just going to put in that time frame.
And
So
we don't know his end.
Exactly.
This is new canon now.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I never really had that problem with Boba, because I think it's just, I don't want to say easy, but it is pretty easy to just say, well, that is a story part that happened then, and like it happened, and it works out because it's unrelated to everything else. So I don't know. Really never had that problem.
Dude, yeah, 100%. And yeah, you know what, Matt, I have not looked at this stuff yet, so maybe we'll look at it here.
Oh yes,
and we'll check that out. We'll come back to that right in a second, because yeah, that's super. I think that's super relevant. Novak,
hey,
hello. Said got a ways to catch up. Well, hello from the future.
Did I make you mad, Novak? By being reasonable? I apologize.
So 39 minutes later, we
At least
gotta
get
know
mentioned.
what did X-Wing do? What? Oh, I was like, what the heck? There's another X-Wing showing up.
No, I just wanted to share my absolute favorite.
Yeah, let's do it, and then I want to show you guys something too.
It's not even a scene; it's just the look.
The look.
Yeah.
Full screen that baby.
That's right after they're like, he says like, "Why don't we just kill you?" And him and Fennec kind of share a
Mhm.
look.
Mhm.
But I
Oh, yeah.
noticed, you know what they did? Hardcore.
Yes, less scarring.
Wow, like a
Hardcore.
lot. He doesn't look like he spent 6 hours in the Polynesian spa. You know what I mean? Like he
Yeah.
was looking like a prune in the last one, and they definitely dialed it back.
And I must say, I really enjoy the new look. Really enjoy
yeah.
it.
Oh my god, yeah.
Really enjoy it.
He looks more like his father.
And
Yes.
and Strike, you brought up a really good point about
Yes.
Boba and his. I love how you're just like yes about Boba and like stories about him. Like there is like a pretty continuous timeline, but this is from something else Boba I read recently. It's like
Halo 3, right? Him and Master Chief in the flood.
Yeah, I know. Yep, the Halo crossover event. So this is from. It's like this young adult graphic novel. It's okay. If it wasn't for Boba, it wouldn't be worth it, to be honest. But it's called like Ship of Fear, and it's Boba getting hired to work with these guys, and then he crosses them, and it's kind of like he's always like one-upping them. And so at the end, you just see like, oh man, Boba always has the upper hand, even when you think he's failing, right? And so there's just a bunch of action, which is like, yeah, it's a lot of fun. But stuff like that makes me think it's like there's so much to Boba's story where I think you're right. Like moving forward, things can get filled in pretty nicely because there is a very well established story, but it's not like and we won't even go down this tangent. But Kenobi, people get a lot more worried because it's like there's a lot more at risk, but to keep us on track, because I know we're gonna all want to talk about Kenobi. Let's do this. Let's hit some comments, because otherwise I'm gonna derail us. Christopher says, I hope they do his backstory and tie up the loose ends, pick up after Return of the Jedi, show him escaping the Sarlacc pit.
It's my dad.
They have
Yes.
to. This is your
I don't
dad?
know.
No, I'm
Yes.
just kidding.
Oh, I was like,
My dad's
This
name
whole-
is Christopher, though.
I was like, this whole time. He's like, son?
How do you know then?
I don't actually. Other than usually, I'm like,
He's like,
hey, I
hello
have
there.
this Star Wars YouTube channel. He's like, I didn't know you like Star Trek that much.
That's awesome.
But that is a really good point, and what I think is also interesting. What could be like sort of like, I don't know, maybe like just a small moment being explained. Maybe when you see him like have a flashback of how because in the Book of Boba trailer he again repainted his armor because it's not
Mhm.
the same as the first repaint. And kind of like give that fun nod, because at least if you see open seasons as canon, sort of, Boba's armor is basically just Django's first paint job for his armor. So it's just like complete homage to his dad. I wish they would sort of like just give us those fun little nods, like nothing too crazy, but like it just gives it a bit more spice. Ha, spice.
Nice.
Ah,
It's
So bad.
official. It's official.
Hey, Dad.
And Novak did clarify, so maybe you weren't in the past. You thought that was the mustache smiley. I like your correction.
Understood.
Well, I mean, it can be. It's just a very sad mustache.
Yeah, that's
But,
the
the
it is
emoji.
a really sad mustache. But don't worry, we'll get there. I just need to get some Rogaine.
So you gotta get past the like, is something there phase, and then there's the like, I own a windowless van phase,
Yeah,
and then it's like,
and then you're a respectable man.
yeah,
You
then it
gotta go.
starts.
You gotta earn it.
And I've straight up had people where they've just been like, man, you look so creepy, and people have been like friends be like, yeah, you definitely own a van and pick up
Oh, I'm
kids.
getting it at work right now. Believe
It's
me,
like,
I'm getting
man.
it.
I mean, you're at the point of no return, so there's no going back
Yeah,
now.
you
I'm
can't.
I'm sticking through November. If at the end of November I'm done with it, then it's going. But
There we go.
Yeah.
You heard it here first, folks.
Let me read some of this, and then hey, what's up, Blue Dodge? I was just scrolling
What's up,
and saw you. How's
So-
it going, man? Mr. Two Star Wars Nerds needs a glitter. That
Way ahead, you
stash.
buddy. It's already in there. I just have a low sheen on right now.
Oh man, there's those guys have you seen them where they like glitter their beards.
I have seen that actually. Yeah.
I actually went to school with them, which is crazy.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
No.
dude,
Thank you for not glittering your mustache.
I know.
Or you just wash it off before stream. You're like,
just all day. Yeah.
Get it off.
I'll hit some comments and
Do
then
it
I'm
for New
actually going to
Year's.
show a. I know. Let's hit some comments and then I want to show a picture about something, and it's actually Strike's picture. It's the one you sent to me, and we'll talk about this because he's a master at noticing these things, I think. But Crit, you say, I believe it works. This is in reference, I think, to that canon conversation we were having. It works if the author is involved. Like, even though the book is totally different, Jurassic Park works so much better because the author co-wrote the movie and is involved in the creative process. Very true. And so, yeah, I mean, that's what's hard about Star Wars, though, is obviously like George Lucas didn't personally put his stamp of approval on every single thing, but old Lucasfilm under his tutelage did. And there's so many authors, so I can see how it's almost, from a business standpoint, it's just easier to just move forward, because you're going to get bogged down in doing this. But I mean, look at all these great interviews with all these old Star Wars guys, like they could just say anybody who's ever touched Boba, let's pull them in for, I know that sounded terrible. As soon as I saw your head shake, I was like, well, yeah, I know that's getting clipped already.
I mean, so, like, for me, one big thing I really want to do is maybe halfway through the season or something like that, I want to grab Mark Anthony Austin again and talk to him.
Yeah.
He's such a Boba-phile. And he was a Boba-phile when all we had were comics and stuff like that.
Oh, and by the way, hey, what's up, Charlie? By the way,
hello there.
after we taken a look at the picture, I'd say we go through the trailer. Like, we don't have to watch it, but I also noticed some scenes that pay homage to the OT. Just fun things, but
cool.
I'd say we just take a look at it.
We'll do it, and I know it won't get
dope.
copyrighted because we posted a video with it, so I'm happy about that. Green Lantern, what's up, man? How's it going? Hello, good to have you here. Alpha, I've seen you say this so many times, and I don't know who Commander Fox is. Am I supposed to know? Is there something I'm missing?
Oh no! Don't bring Fox up. No, he doesn't exist.
I keep seeing that, and I'm like, you know what? You've been so patient, persistent, whatever adjective you want to use. Okay, let's do this. So, Strike, you shared this with me.
Yes.
So why don't you go ahead and explain this, good sir, and we can kind of weigh in, and the chat can weigh in too.
So the thing is, like, since I'm a huge Boba fan, like, I take detail very seriously, and
You're
like,
totally
for instance,
right. You're
Yes,
totally right.
And the thing is, like, I already, like, in the OT, there's like a scene where it's like the wrong side, like it's inverted and it's like left-handed instead of right-handed. I fixed that. And in this trailer, literally the only thing that bugged me was that helmet, and I was like, am I mad? Am I mad because it seemed too thin? And I was like, is it just the paint job? Is it maybe the cheeks are not like that dark? Maybe it's because of that. But I took it into Photoshop and I stretched it, and it really doesn't look right.
No, dude, like so look at just this. Like,
so on the left is like the original shot. On the top right is from Mando, and the bottom right is the one that I just fixed.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. If you look at the cheeks, and you look at, I mean, it's kind of narrow, pointing straight back towards the ears almost. And then you look at this side,
it's way more straight,
flared out, and maybe it is lighting, but
I don't know. It's more like, the thing is, I kind of, right. X-Wing has the accurate one. I sort of always imagined like having sort of like when you just look straight at the camera, I sort of always thought of like Boba's helmet to have like this imaginary square, like this perfect square sort of. But that one is just like, nah, it's not a perfect square. I don't know how to describe
I
it.
thought we were talking about the dent.
Oh shoot!
Oh really?
Look how small the dent is on the repaint, and then how big the dent is on the Boba on the Book of Boba helmet.
Maybe
Yeah,
he tried that thing where you like heat it up and try and like suction it out, and it didn't.
Yeah, it didn't
He's
work.
like,
To be fair, I think
dent.
on that point, the Book of Boba one is more accurate than the Mando one.
Oh, 100%.
Because in the OT, the dent was bigger.
Yeah.
Definitely bigger.
Yeah, you're onto something, boys. You're onto something.
Wow, we're not.
Crit says, I think it's the same color, just with more scratches and different lighting and color correction.
No, it's different.
It's
Yeah,
different. Like, I mean,
100%.
it's, I don't know. It's like, I hate that I have to bring that up, but it just bugged me.
No, dude. I think that's it. I mean, I think that stuff is really cool, and I think it's cool for the reason of, like, hey, this is super cool. Darth Liliven, hello there. Hello. This popped up on my recommended. Awesome. Good to have you here. I'll call you. Can I call you Darth Lily?
Welcome.
Or did I say Liliven? Right? How are we all doing? We're doing well. Doing well. Good to have you here. But yeah, the reason I like what you found so much is it just shows that whole idea of like just how, I guess, passionate people get, about Boba, to where we're like
Passionate, psychotic. I mean,
there's a lot.
Can I just quickly
Where do you
say-
draw the line?
Can I just quickly say, Novak, you son of a gun.
Yeah.
He just posted in general chat, like, Strike wants his helmet to be more square.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, here
damn
we
it.
go. Any variation, perfect. That makes it way easier. Way easier for me. Cool. Well, I saw Christopher X-Wing's dad brought this interesting point up, and this is a whole nother loaded topic we will generally avoid, but we'll apply it to Book of Boba here, and Boba Fett's lore. So Dave Filoni is the heir apparent to George Lucas. He, I think he has the passion and is writing the ship that Disney screwed the pooch on with the sequels. And, I think people are definitely interested and excited for what's coming out. So I think what we should do,
Agreed.
I'm going to pull it up. Let's pull up the...
Favreau is the reason we have what we have right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna pull up the trailer.
I
So
was
if
going
any-
to say, yeah, don't forget Jon Favreau.
Yeah, Jon Favreau, very talented. I mean, it's a Star Wars channel, but I'm like, it should almost just have a Favreau appreciation stream. The man has done everything from Elf to Marvel to
Marvel.
Yes.
everything.
He's
It's crazy.
pretty much like the one that you just send in to fix everything.
Doesn't
Mhm.
matter what it is.
he is Papa Bear.
I don't know that I'm gonna call him Papa Bear, but you can. And what's up, Padawannabe? Could it be they just finally made a helmet for Tamura that felt well enough to be comfortable for him for a whole series?
Oh, 100%. If they just say it's a different helmet, maybe like, I don't know, just a different helmet, then it's all good. Just notice it.
It's just a different helmet that got shot
Oh,
in
that
the
look-
exact
Yes,
spot.
in the exact same spot.
And see, this is why I love you guys. At least it's not as thin as the helmet on the Black Series figure.
Mine's still in the box. So.
You're like measuring, you're like, too thin.
This appears to be 0.7 millimeters. When in the movie, it is 0.1 millimeters.
And you send it back with a letter explaining why.
Unacceptable.
That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, he did. Yeah, and swingers. Yeah, that's so true.
Strike is dying right now because it's true. I was in the airport in Germany and I had
You know
cart
it's
bags
true.
and I moved them in front of the line not in front of the line, next to the line, so I could go through the line and not have two big baggage carts. And this cute little, not cute, she was not cute. A large, short German lady walks up and she goes, "Explain this to me."
I can imagine this so perfectly.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Breathe, strike.
I know we don't need you passing out.
No, don't bring up that line. I don't want it.
Thanks, man. Thanks. I got a cheap green screen. Well, it's not a green screen. It's like a green blanket hung up. Yeah. We do a lot of different stuff, and we had to do some things that are very professional and in nature, and wanted to hide some. We didn't want to pop on, and then it's like, oh, super sweaty. This is uber nerd. So
You go watch that intro if you haven't seen the professionalism. Go watch that intro. Jeepers.
Yeah.
Jinkies.
Mm-hmm. All right, so let's do this. I'm going to share. So just for everybody here, if you have not seen the trailer for Book of Boba and you do not want to, this is your time to click away for like 2 minutes. It's super short. I think,
No, I mean there is no spoiler alert, but still, if you
I love Disney Jedi.
yeah. Boba had to sanitize his armor from the Sarlacc who had the coof.
The coof.
The
the
coof.
goof.
Ooh.
Okay.
By the way, just something funny that I noticed. Did you notice that the shield guys sort of had like an inner mask that's sort of looked like a
The COVID
Star
mask.
Wars Cove mask?
Tatooine is a super spreader planet.
None of you are wearing masks or social distancing.
Have you been to Tatooine? Oh, no, that
At least those Mandalorians stay masked up the whole time.
So, Christopher, I'm glad that you guys are all here for this conversation. I did not think it would keep going this long. They explained the change in the armor. Apparently, Boba had cleaned it up and fixed it up a bit, lost his armor, and was honoring the memory of his father. So maybe
Yeah,
it's
that
like,
doesn't change the shape of the helmet, though.
yeah,
right.
multiple helmets production-wise. Okay, so you're taking more of just the practical standpoint there. I don't think the repaint is the same helmet armor as Cobb Vanth pre-paint in Mandalorian. I
Yeah,
don't-
100%. I
yeah,
don't think.
yeah.
I mean, look at Grievous. Grievous had Anakin and Obi-Wan saber while they were still alive. Sometimes things just don't make perfect
The
sense.
thing is, I do think it would make sense that he has different suits because he does have. I mean, what if, like, for instance, the the Empire Strikes Back suit is a different suit than the Return of the Jedi suit? Because that one definitely has the different paint job for the jetpack. It even has, I think, some special not existing LED lights that the Return of the Jedi one doesn't have. And the gauntlets are not the same for the Return of the Jedi one. It has like one other gauntlet, so it's. I mean,
Yeah.
and it would make sense, I guess. I mean, to have more different suits of armor.
Yeah, and I like this, and this will be interesting for how because they have to talk about the paint job. I think that they're gonna show it. They have to, whether it's just something like just cosmetic, fixing it up, like the whole point of just kind of like reclaiming, honoring his father. But I like how it's like he didn't really care if it was dented or ugly looking, just gave him street cred. That's pretty cool.
I don't think he gave a rat's butt about street cred.
I think he did, and at the same time didn't. I think he didn't really care as long as he had the armor. But I think at the point where Cobb Vanth had the armor, he was just like, that guy did some stuff with that armor, and I just want it clean. I don't want like scars that he got in like a fight,
Yeah, probably should have shot him dead on sight.
Yes, he should.
That's a good. I think that's a good distinction for Boba because I don't think he cared about the street cred, but I think he was aware of it. And obviously with JodoCast, it made him extremely upset when somebody stole that street cred. Same thing with Cobb Vanth, and Disney canon, he gets it. there was it was more than just, it was kind of the street cred, but there was so much weight to his appearance. Just want to say before we get into this, what's up, Darth Maximus? Good evening, Cooper. You said sorry you're late, dude. You never have to apologize. You can lurk, you can pop in and out, come and go as you please, my man. Good to have you here. Okay, let's do this thing. We're gonna watch the trailer for Book of Boba here, and then we can kind of talk about the tying in of old lore and new canon in kind of this.
Better
this
be
interplay.
careful.
Oh, I know. We'll see. Okay. Do we want to see our reaction? What do you guys think? Reactions?
I'm
or
sorry
no
if I can't show my reaction.
Yeah, it's a reaction.
Oh, reactions for sure. Well,
Okay.
it's not a reaction. I've watched it.
X-Wing.
So you
You're
better
not
sell
getting
it.
invited to the Polynesian spa if you do that.
Show me the Bobas. That was
And
walking the line. Okay, here we go.
I am not a bounty hunter.
Did droid or no?
I've heard otherwise.
Hold up. I know I'm not going
Yes.
to do this. I swear I'm not going to keep pausing. But
No, you definitely should.
so I think what this is, I think this is purely a lens issue. So different lenses, depending on how close you are and the focus, it'll actually change the shape of your face. Because when you look at this, it just looks like everything is pulled in by the lens.
I've heard otherwise.
That's what I think that is.
Sound like an gnarly fish. I love the Lucasfilm Boba.
yes, that is
Yeah.
sick.
I know that you sit on the throne of your former employer.
Can we talk about that real quick?
This
So,
or the throne
no,
of your
no.
former-
Right before that, a lot of people were arguing that they heard a Mandalorian say that, and that it was another Mandalorian asking the question. He's wearing a translator. That Ithorian is the one that's speaking. It's not another Mandalorian.
Yes. It does sound very similar
that
to
you
Din
sit on
Djarin,
the
though. I
throne
think
of
that's
your
why people
former
are
employer.
confused.
Sorry, say that again.
I was just saying, like a lot of people, and it does sound very similar to Din Djarin.
Yeah.
So many people were just confused, like, why is Din Djarin talking to Bo? I mean, could be, but yeah, I do think it's the
That was
Ithorian
not
shape.
Din Djarin. No, that's not Pedro.
Yes.
Ah,
It's
see,
not.
it's for sure Mando. It
No,
wasn't.
It is not. Go back and listen to it again.
I kind of. Yeah, I mean, I kind of hear it, but I mean,
Close, but it's not. It's not. Let's listen to it.
I know that you sit on the throne of your former employer.
You can kind of hear the undertone of the actual Ithorian voice.
Pedro might have voiced that, but he's voicing the Ithorian.
oh wait, here's a good way you can tell they are notorious. So, remember when everybody found out Omega's name was Omega? How they found it out? They found it out from closed captions. They are notorious for being accurate in their captions. So
You sneaky.
let's see.
I know that you sit on the throne.
Alien 1.
Alien 1. I told you it's the Ithorian speaking.
Yeah, I think
No name, though.
I think this is it. Are they tricking you?
Yes.
I think that's exactly what's going on there. Okay,
Keep those on.
you want to keep them
Oh,
on?
100%. Yeah.
Let's
Watch
do
us
it.
get a character reveal on stream right now.
I know. Here we go.
All right.
The throne of your former employer.
Favorite shot.
Yeah, it looks dope.
Jabba ruled with fear.
Okay,
That, real quick, that scene, exact copy of Return of the Jedi. That is exactly
Really?
the movement of like Darth
oh, the way he pulls it up.
Maul.
No, he shouldered it in return.
Mm-mm.
Didn't he?
I-
He didn't.
I
He did.
sense a
I mean, we can
get a
watch
side
the
by
Return
side.
of the Jedi scene right
No,
now.
no, no. All right, let's watch it.
So this, I'm very curious what this says. I know people did a breakdown.
Yeah, it got broken down.
I wonder if this is more clear because I remember people saying they had a hard time with it.
It's
but-
probably Mace disguising his voice.
That's so true. What's up,
Hiding
Manda
behind
Mike?
the chair.
How's it going? Okay, let's get through this.
Jabba ruled with fear. I intend to rule with respect.
You were all once captains under Jabba the Hutt.
I'm here to make a proposal that's mutually beneficial.
That is also such a sick shot.
Why speak of conflict when cooperation can make us all rich?
Twi'leks.
What prevents us all from killing you and taking what we want?
Look at that.
They totally have masks on.
Why did he have coins in his helmet?
So that's the whole thing. Yeah, why? The missus thinks it's a satchel. That's
He's like going around like alms, please, alms.
So I did a.
That's why I said the same thing when I saw it.
I did an EFAP on that really quick. Well, I could the best I could on my phone to see if that was actually his helmet.
Mhm.
I think within like the next 4 or 5 frames, it was debatable whether or not there was actually.
I think I see the red markings, like the
Good
red
StreamYard does
stripes.
not like it. Okay, there we go. I was like, StreamYard does not like it changing. Dude, that is so hard. We'd have to
Yeah,
like screenshot that and like boost it, like make it brighter.
I mean, you can slightly see it, but I think those are the red stripes. I think that's Boba's helmet. Yeah.
And those are the Red Key Raiders.
Okay.
Mm.
The Poser Mining Company that tried to like take over Jabba's stuff.
Oh yeah, right.
I think those are the Red Key Raiders. If you go back a little bit, they look just like, if you remember from Mando season 2, they were the miners that actually tried to take out Cobb Vanth. They were they didn't look exactly like the Foot Clan like they do there, but pretty close.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, 100%. I mean,
hell
that's very, very well possible.
Boba's on a street corner with the sign that says anything helps.
Anything helps. Trying to pay for my new helmet.
Respect isn't working well for me.
Need some credit, like my father.
Come here and get a sit in the Polynesian spa.
Like
I
my
mean,
father.
never mind. I was gonna say he did pretty much live in poverty, you know, when he had, you know, like a lover and a child, you know, in the EU. But
Yeah.
okay, let's go back.
Make us
Twi'leks.
all rich.
She's extremely interesting to me.
Yeah.
What prevents us all from killing you
Trandosians.
You guys see young
and
Sid
taking
there?
what we want?
Oh, I love that.
If you had spoken such insolence to Jabba, he'd have fed you to his menagerie.
Please. Speak freely.
Sweet.
Yep.
I have to go potty my pants. That was so amazing.
Oh, that's awesome. Cool. Well, man.
I
So-
agree. I've got one thing I want to talk about.
Yeah, bring it up, man.
Well, it's because I've got to go in a minute, but
Yeah.
it's someone mentioned about Boba and Mandalore, and it's
Mhm.
something I actually read up on. You know when they get the crate dragon pearl?
Mm-hmm.
That's what Boba Fett made his version of his lightsaber from.
Oh, crazy! Out of that pearl.
And so, yeah, and that's what I was just like when I watched the trailer. I was like, oh my god, please do this. Let's see. I don't want him to become have much to do with Mandalore because he says, I'm not a Mandalorian.
Yeah.
But it'd be so cool to see, the process of a lightsaber being forged from a crate dragon pearl.
Yeah,
100% it would be. That'd be sweet, man.
definitely. Average, that Twi'lek is
I
very
know.
interesting.
Agreed.
I'm sure she is X-Wing. Man, you gotta be careful what you say on streams. So if when we're talking about this, I guess this intersection of old Disney, old Boba lore, old Boba EU, because there is stuff post Return of the Jedi, for Boba. There's quite a bit of stuff. Then when we get into like modern Disney canon with Book of Boba, like I'm personally really excited for Book of Boba. I am. But what is something, whether it's like a nod or something you guys would like to see, whether it's in this show or if it's, I don't know if there'll be future books or comics or whatever. Is there something for you guys where you're like, man, if we could dig deeper into this in Boba lore, like that would like just make you super happy?
I mean, first of all, I think I'm just really hyped and like interested in what Robert Rodriguez came up with because I feel like he really has a great understanding of how Boba works, at least like in that timeline. And I don't know, I appreciate many different approaches. Like, for instance, like I would definitely like to see some sort of, at some point, maybe like some sort of family that he builds, like maybe even like it continues, like he takes sort of a son under his wing, or maybe he has an actual son or a daughter, doesn't really matter. But like I think there are many approaches that could be quite interesting. Other than that, I just really want to see more live action bounty hunters. I mean, the Trandoshians, none of them were Bosk, at least none of them really match Bosk's appearance. But I mean, they're Trandoshians, so I mean, it's not that big of a stretch that Bosk might stand in the background, like, just having a laugh with Boba,
Yeah.
Although they weren't quite keen on each other. Anyway, I mean, bounty hunters. But like, maybe Ambo. Ambo is one that I would really like to see in live action.
Cool.
There's probably something I would like to see expanded on.
Doesn't have to do with anything specific, like a lightsaber wielder. No.
But perhaps we could, see an expansion on.
Well, let me read this, and then we'll get to. I think it's relevant. I know what you're talking about. I would like to see the Spy Kids formula in Boba since Robert directed that as well. Yes, he did. He's a guy like Favreau. He directs kids movies, and he directs horror movies and Star Wars and
Alita Battle Angel.
Once Upon a Time in Mexico. Awesome movie.
Good one. Yep.
Yeah, very cool. Boba Fett will finally stop the droid attack on the Wookiees.
Finally.
I mean, he would be the one. He would be the one. He's pretty notorious for killing Wookiees.
Yeah.
Okay, there was a comment a long time ago. I'm not going to try and find it. I think it was Casual about how BA Boba is because he ran, basically a bounty hunter clan, at a very young age. And in the Clone Wars, what you see is this fixation on him wanting to get revenge and him killing Mace. And do you think that is, I mean, that's Dave Filoni, right? with Clone Wars. Like, he wrote that in there. So since that is kind of already established, in Boba's life, obviously Mace killed his father, and you have people like Palpatine who keep coming back. Granted, in the EU, he keeps coming back. It's nothing necessarily new, but obviously we saw it come back a certain way. We don't have to realistically talk all that, but what do you think? Do you think they're going to close that narrative, or do you think it's just going to kind of be a thing where it's like, yeah, he was fixated as a teenager, as a kid, but did he move on? Or
Nope.
Because then we start to get into what about him and Luke? Because they separated at the end they didn't show them together, because I think he'd be like, this is the guy who knocked me into the Sarlacc pit.
He didn't.
No, he didn't.
And he didn't have a contract for Luke. He's got nothing doing with Luke. And he doesn't even know that Han knocked him into the pit.
Yeah, Han. Yeah. But I didn't know if, like, just I guess in my mind, more like the association that this is the group who ran together. Like, do you think he'd just be like, whatever? Or do you think it'd be like,
I think that could
not
be
on a Mace
conversation.
What's that?
You used to know Han. And he's like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Boba is, like, he didn't have, like, a straight hatred for the Jedi. I mean, it was pretty much only Mace. And I think with the whole did he still want to kill Mace narrative, I think that's definitely an interesting thing to talk about, because, I mean, in Clone Wars, obviously, the first arcs we have Boba in, he tries to kill Mace. It doesn't work. Sort of done deal, he's in prison for a while. Then I try to remember, the whole Cad Bane thing, I think, happens first. There we see, like, a already, like, older teenager Boba, and he already has, like, he still is running around with Bosk. And at some point we have the arc with Ventress and, like, joining Boba's group, and there he just kind of seems to be kind of in the rhythm of, like, being a bounty hunter, having that group with Isinger, Dengar, Bosk. But the thing is, I always like the idea that George originally had planned to have Boba kill Mace in Revenge of the Sith. Like, that was a legitimate outline that he had as an arc in the story. And I mean, what can I say? I mean, it's George. If he, like, the only reason it's not in the movie is because he thought Boba was too young and it was unrealistic. But, like, other than that, Mace would have been gone by Boba. Like, you can bet on that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and so for a resolution for that, do you think it's going to be brought up in Boba's life moving forward, or do you think they're just going to relegate it to a thing in the Clone Wars?
This is going to be a season ender. It is going to secure Boba's badassery in the universe, and I think they're both going to die together.
Oh, you think Boba? They're going to put it in Boba.
Same.
He has to end.
No.
Yeah. He has to end, man. It's at some point in time.
Don't leave it on like an open end.
If you say,
don't leave it on an open end.
It's time for the Boba to end, I'm going to.
I mean, you got to think about it. This stuff comes to an end. What more fitting end than he finally kills his father's killer and then dies?
I don't know. It sounds cheesy, but I think it would be interesting to have.
I'm sorry, I have to put this in here. This is a total Inigo Montoya moment. My father, prepare to die.
But
yeah,
he didn't die.
He died from, like, a mortal wound.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Mace totally has the upper hand and mortally wounds Boba, and then he just takes him out. And he stands over the dead.
Drives him crazy.
Mace is at that point.
Beautiful.
Like in the 70s, isn't it?
You know,
Yeah, I
what?
don't know. I think it would be Sorry, I think it would be interesting if we had
But don't
sort of happy end for Boba. I think they could have a nice twist, like even though it's probably cheesy and cringy and whatever. I don't care. But like
Happy
him just
ending for a career murderer.
yes, that
Oh
would
my
be
god! I
something.
love the way his story ended.
Oh,
So, do you guys want I guess, how would you say, almost like a treatment of Maul, where you get this kind of like poetic death with him and Kenobi. You get that treatment. Is that something you're wanting, like a death fitting for Boba?
Yes, I want that, and I think when he's dying, we're gonna learn a revelation about Omega.
I don't think we're gonna
He's
see
gonna.
that.
We're not
But
gonna
she's
see
dead.
her, but he's gonna say something. He's gonna say, "That's for my father and Omega."
No.
Come on, let's go. Tie it
because
into
Boba
that.
killed Omega.
No.
Sorry.
Honestly, if they mention, they can't mention Omega. Like they can't mention anything if it's not set up yet, and it's like that's why I don't think we're gonna get anything beyond the whole gangster and underground thing in Book of Boba season 1. I'm pretty sure it's not that far stretched that we're gonna get a season 2, and that is like going to have all of that.
Book of Boba?
Yeah, because I feel like with the whole Omega stuff, that would like get explained in Bad Batch season 2. Like we get like a setup with Boba and Omega, and then it makes sense to mention her in live action.
That's what I'm saying. You don't see her, but he mentions her.
No, but it
And then
doesn't.
in Bad Batch season
it's
2,
there, and then,
you learn why Boba said what he said about Omega in Book of Boba. Because this is the sequel, and then Bad Batch would be the prequel, right?
And for me, I know in the EU you don't have like the details of Boba's death. I would personally rather have it stay that way. I would rather have he enters in mystery. Well, ish. I mean, in Empire he enters in mystery. He's just kind of there.
Yeah.
And I would want him to leave the same way. I want it to be open-ended, like almost like an Inception type ending. One of these where you're like, what the heck? Like, what happened? And I would love for them to never answer it. Just leave people talking about it for years.
So kind of like the end of the
Agreed.
Batman movie where he gets in the bat craft and rolls away, and then the nuke goes off, and you're like, well, did he die or not?
Mm-hmm. That'd be sweet. Let me say what's up
And
to
then
some
you
people
see
really
him at
quick.
the end.
Got Matt Cave. Hello, sir. A little behind. Bird Church. Hello. T Money. Hello.
hey, what's up?
Yeah, what up, T-Money?
How's it going? How's it going?
What's going on, brother?
This the Luke Boba showdown. I think X-Wing had a good point, because in my mind it's like maybe you'd be associated with Han, but he's kind of like, yeah, probably not. But do you think Luke would ever go back to Tatooine? 100%. I think he would. Yeah.
Only if he has a reason to. I mean, he might have a reason to.
Yeah, he did go back. Yeah, as a ghost. He's like, I'm going to go back to the one place that caused me the most pain and then watch somebody bury my lightsaber right where somebody got burned to death.
X-Wing cut.
Right.
Oh my! When you pull it like that, that's just so messed up, bro. When you pull it in that sort of description, it's sort of like Disney. Really, what was you thinking?
I mean, like, did I watch the movies?
But
All right,
anyway, I'm sorry, guys. I've got a dip.
Yeah, no worries,
But
man.
thank you
do
for
want
having
to
me
say
on.
anything final on Boba before you take off?
It's only like 4 o'clock in the morning, love.
You gotta go. I gotta go make a bloody another cup of tea and get a crumpet.
All right then, yeah. God save the Queen.
Awesome.
But
Well,
Boba, no, no, F the Queen.
well, have a good morning.
On Boba, I just hope it's as good as I've built it up in my head.
Yeah. For sure. That's awesome. Well, thanks for being here,
But
man. Really appreciate it.
And thank you for having me on, man. And may the force be with everybody. And I hope everyone has a good night.
Yeah.
You too, man.
too. See ya.
Peace.
Bye.
Yeah, for Ladash here, I know that this wasn't even I'll just say let's quickly move on so we can stick on Boba, but the Heart of the Jedi was technically never even George canon, like Lucas canon. But yeah, there's a whole cool thing where Luke goes back to Tatooine and that I think is a better treat.
And
Better-
nailed it in a comment right there.
who let me go down.
Sandman.
Okay, here we go. Sandman. A name appropriate. Yeah, Luke gets instructions to build a new lightsaber in Obi-Wan's old hut. Yes. Novak, I don't know if you're taking off, but see ya. If you're not, glad you're hanging out. Yeah, T-Money, actually maybe I could hop on for like 10 minutes if you guys allow it. Yeah, 100%, dude. And Magneto, Alex, I know I said once you're off work, if you want to hop on for the last little bit too, I'll send you guys both an invite here. Let me pull up a talking point while I send these guys a thing.
Hey, Casual just launched a new channel.
Yeah, it's Disney one, right?
No, it's Comic Book Casual.
The Disney one is his brother's.
Oh, it's his brother's? Okay.
Yeah, Comic Book Casual. He's doing some Marvel DC stuff.
Awesome.
I don't have a link here. Maybe I can share it. But
let's have this right here. This can be a talking point. While I send out this invite. So Cobb Vanth, and we could even if you guys want to, we could talk about the Vanth Jodo cast similarities. You know, obviously there's a little difference there, but do you guys think that Cobb Vanth will show up? What do you think? What do you think with that?
Possibly. No,
he'll be there.
Yeah, that line is just perfect. I mean, possibly. I mean, yeah, would definitely be a fun little nod. Just like, I don't know, maybe even just him crossing the street with Boba and like Boba's just looking at him like, you bitch.
Stole my whole kit. That's how Mr. Nerds feels right now. He's like, you got the mustache?
I don't have a corner on.
I'm the calm man, man. Come on.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting how calm Boba was when it came to Cobb.
Yeah, 100%.
And the argument is like, well, what about Jodo Cass? And it's like, that's a little different. Cobb Vanth took the armor and was using it for a noble deed, to save the town. Comparatively, Jodo Cass was
It's totally different.
Yeah, not so much.
Yeah, and these are kind of, let me open these up for anybody who doesn't know. And again, I'm not claiming to be any expert here, but let me show you guys this. For those of you guys who maybe don't know, what's up, buddy?
Hey, what's up?
How's it going, T-Money?
I am overwhelmed, I'd say, with the amount of work and stuff. I should be doing my homework right now, but I'm like, bro, they dropped literally Book of Boba trailer today. I'm like,
yeah,
bro, I'm like trying to do homework like in the library. I'm like, I'll saw my notification. I'm like, no way, damn you!
All the books off the table.
yeah. I'll only stay for like 10 minutes because I do really need to restrict myself. But like,
yeah,
trailer looks sick. I'm super excited. I like how it didn't reveal too much either. Like we still don't know really too much what's going on, but like got like Boba out here like making deals. What's up, Average? Like I really love the line when he's like Jabba ruled with fear. I intend to with respect. Like that was sick. And it makes me like wonder like kind of like what's Boba's philosophy right now. At the end of season 2, like he had Fennec like roll in, and she like sets the slave Twi'lek free. So it's like, oh, okay, like you're not the one we're trying to kill. Like, so they got a little bit of like honor, respect thing going, and I'm curious to see where that leads to.
You think that plays into her meeting the Twi'leks later?
Oh, dude, when I saw that, I'm like, them Twi'leks just like looking at Boba like,
What if that was their like daughter or something? That she
Maybe.
shot the chain off of in that scene.
Maybe. Also, like, I gotta say, like, the music for the trailer was also like pretty hype. It was like a slowed down version of like his theme in The Mandalorian, and I'm not exactly sure if they did this, but like maybe it's just my ears playing. But they kind of, it sounded like they were also using almost a version of like Fennec's theme from the Bad Batch. You know how like she has like kind of the harmonic like. I kind of heard that in the trailer. I'm like, yo, like they're connecting, and just like I run Battlefront themes, and it's like just geeking out on it.
There's some 4D chess going on there.
Yeah. For sure.
Dude, yeah. I mean, I love that you bring that stuff up because just the themes that they're introducing. I feel like correct me if I'm wrong, isn't the guy Ludwig, isn't he doing all the music for it?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, because what I appreciate with him is that when he introduces a theme, it's very classical in the sense of it's actually setting something up that's going to be reintroduced, and he keeps bringing these themes in.
Yeah.
And obviously, it's not just him. There's a whole team.
He's doing the John.
Yeah.
He's doing the John.
And I'm so glad that it's not like, it's traditional Star Wars as opposed to like the direction things have gone for so long, just pop culture and just music, that it's actually very intentional, because then you can pick stuff apart and be like, why is this here? It's there's a reason that it's here.
Or they just play a theme because you should feel emotional at this point.
Exactly.
Another thing that like we got to give Ludwig credit for is he didn't like make a new Ahsoka theme. He straight up like took Kevin Kiner's like Ahsoka theme and used that in its own Mandalorian style. And I remember like at the end of The Mandalorian, like just when Mando's like flying out, you just hear her theme like swell, and it's like dun dun dun. Like I'm like straight vibing to it. So he knows his stuff, and I'm excited to see him continue on Book of Boba.
Right.
The guy gets Star Wars music big time, but it's funny because he's taken a new spin on it with this new stuff, but it's still just somehow organic.
Yeah.
The thing that I will say about it is that I really want him to incorporate the OG Boba theme. Like, come on, you gotta at least play it once. Come on.
Yeah, I agree. Actually,
maybe do a flashback of like Empire Strike.
That's literally, bro. We on the same wavelength right now.
Peak levels rising.
No, I was literally thinking about that because I remember like them talking about like, oh, we're gonna have like some flashbacks, and like if we get something from the Empire Strikes Back or Return of the Jedi timeline, like that's the point when you're like you put in that original Empire Strikes Back theme.
Well, he uses that big. It's like a recorder. It looks like a plastic tuba that he uses. If you did that, because he does it for the Mando theme. He did that on that instrument while he's talking about something he did in his past. Was like that kind of low, like do 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 do.
Here's a real deep cut. What if like he talked about his childhood? And I don't know if you remember in the Clone Wars, he had like another theme when he was a kid, and it was like it was like almost like angelic voices, like like if they somehow like did a deep cut into that, but that might be asking for a little bit too much, but
probably. But hey, you never know.
Yeah,
who knows?
Oh, you know what's so awesome about this, and I think this is why these life and lores are so fun for me. You know, we've done a 15-20 minute deep dive on helmet shape and size, and another like 10-minute deep dive just on theme music, and it's like, let's go, dude. But I have a question for all of you guys, and T Money, since you got to go, you could even answer it first. And so the missus and I even talked about this a little bit. The whole line you brought up about how Jabba dealt with fear, Jabba ruled with fear, or whatever.
I'll rewatch it real quick.
And like basically my paraphrase is, and I'll rule or whatever with respect.
Jabba
and-
ruled with fear. Hold up.
I plan to lead with respect.
I intend to rule with respect.
And
Yeah.
So
and
obviously he still says the word rule, which I think is important because he's saying he's the head.
Oh yeah.
And then this is interesting for Bird Church, and I'll tie it in together. Nice little package for a question, but before Boba says you may speak freely, he or Fennec definitely does something horrible to someone around the table.
Yes.
I love
And
that.
so kind
Yes.
of, oh, dude, what is that movie? I can't even think. But where that, it's like a mafioso movie. Feel bad blanking.
It was Dr. Evil.
It's not a mafia. But anyway, where he just like beats the guy to death
I got
right there
that.
with the baseball bat at the table. Where like everybody's like listening to the gangster boss, and he's walking around and then just straight just like destroy someone with the baseball bat. And it's basically like, hey, you guys can just, do you have any questions?
Yeah.
And everybody's like, nope.
Nope.
And
What if we get some like sort of like Boba getting his armor for the first time and Mando sort of beating up stormtroopers hand to hand, like just getting from behind, just beating his head on the table and like just,
it's untouchable.
and then like, oh, don't worry, speak freely. What were you saying? Like, you know what's up, right? You know what's up, right?
So that was the joke, was the parody that Dr. Evil did that at the table when he used to send people down into like the fiery pit underneath it. They were making fun of the Untouchables, but I 100% could see something like that happening. Like they cut it nice for the teaser.
Yeah.
Like, oh, Boba's being nice. Like, oh no, please speak freely. But really what happened when he was sitting there, somebody said something and Fennec just,
Yeah.
and then he's like, please speak freely.
Yeah, 100%.
Ignore that totally massacred corpse over there.
Yeah.
Speak freely. Please tell me how you feel.
And so my question is, obviously we've had the whole like all killer, no filler, right? What, I don't remember if that's exactly how it was said.
9 episodes too.
All killer, no filler.
All killer, no filler.
And so that line particularly about respect, do you think you're going to see more of a Mando type of Boba, where maybe you see him, I wouldn't say softer, but a little warmer, a little softer around the edges?
Better not.
Not as hardcore as you necessarily see in the EU. Do you think that respect is more like, I want to lead Tatooine, the crime syndication, differently? Or do you think that it's kind of like a red herring and like, nah, he's brutal, and we're gonna see that?
I think it's more of like that. I'm just a simple man with that Mando, like sort of warrior's code touch,
Right.
Like that sort of code of honor and like respect, like because like he has like a code. I mean, that's why he helped Din get Grogu back. I mean, essentially that was because of his code. Like, oh, you're like, my father was a foundling. Like, you're doing the same thing for this child. I'll help you. So I think it's more of that, and I think it has no influence on how gruesome Boba can be at all. Because I think if you're dead to him, you better believe you're dead to him.
Yeah, I think it's more like, okay, if it's dealing with like innocents or people who are like just aren't like, you know, like Jabba, he's gonna like enslave someone like no matter who they are. Like that's just how he is. He wants money, he wants greed, all that stuff. Boba, he's not gonna like mess with you if like you're you're just minding your own business. But if you mess with him, then you're gone. You're a goner. He's gonna not hold back. And so I think it's gonna be like, he does have that honor, and he's gonna respect those who give him respect. But when they don't give him that respect, that's like,
here's the way I see it. Fennec Shan says he would have fed you to the menagerie, right? And Boba says, right after he gats the guy dead at the table, he goes, I allowed him to die quickly. That's respectful, right?
Yeah, actually, matter of fact, yeah.
He didn't feed him to a Rancor. He allowed him to die quickly.
Sandman even, brings up, man, you're speaking my language. Kill Bill, Tarantino here. But remind me of that scene in Kill Bill where Lucy Liu takes off the homie's head for insulting her heritage when she took over the crime syndicate.
Yeah,
I see that totally. Like it, and that's what I liked about this. I think it's a teaser. I don't really think it's a trailer because they're typically trailers now show the end, and then you watch and you're like, dude, come on. But this, as far as I can tell, I mean, granted, I haven't seen any of the show, obviously, but it seems like there's so much that's left ambiguous to where I don't really know what direction we're gonna get. I hope it's a
trailer was
Boba.
the first episode, dude.
Yeah, I was literally just gonna say I think that whole trailer was like the first or second episode.
I think so too. I don't think we see anything else in the first episode because this all seems like stuff that we need to know at the start of the series.
Minus like a little bit of damage change on his armor, it seems like it's all very, very close.
And I just had a thought, what if the reason why he like totally massacres one dude is because he does a similar cloning joke like Bo-Katan, and we sort of see what happens if you're not a friend of Boba, and he's just completely losing it on that guy.
Immediate death.
Like immediate.
You're just a clone.
Yeah.
Remember how people told me no disintegrations? Those people are gone.
I'm also hoping that this trailer mainly showed off Tatooine, but like I'm hoping like as the series progresses, he's like gonna be going to other worlds. Like,
I mean, we saw this like one fly, so
yeah, for sure. And it's also in the poster, I think. So
I just don't want to see him soft. It's the only thing. I don't want to see him soft.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna be soft. I think it's gonna be.
He was soft with Din.
Yeah.
Maybe just because he was another Mandalorian, but I mean, he was soft.
But I always kind of go back to like in the Clone Wars, like when he like Aurra Singh is like trying to get him to like shoot the officer, and he does not want to do it.
He was also a babe.
Yeah, he was. But sorry, my roommate.
You're good.
It's all good.
College.
Anyways, I think there's like a little bit of softness, but it's not like his whole personality. You know what I mean?
Right, and I think
it all depends on the person. I think that's the thing.
And Christopher also brought up a great point. It isn't personal; it's just business.
Mm-hmm.
We've also learned that Boba is a dirty capitalist. He's like, we can start a corporation.
Yeah,
he's out getting some big bucks.
I think that Star Wars girl said like, "Oh, all those like anti-capitalist people are really gonna enjoy this series."
Mm-hmm. And let me show you guys this T-Money. You'll like this in particular. You'll be happy about this, friend. You'll be happy about this from the Omnibus.
Yes, sir.
So this is from the comic that I just read today, and this is when I think of Boba, and I know this is an extreme, I think this is Boba for me. Like you have him kind of crossed Vader, and because basically he finds out Vader sent these other bounty hunters to follow him and to kill him, and to take the thing. He's like, okay, Boba will actually get the job done, but then kill Boba because essentially he's kind of too dangerous to keep him alive. So Boba kills those guys.
He's too dangerous to be left alive.
Yeah. And look at this, just headshot. Headshots Vader, and then like you see Vader laying there. But then there's this really awesome fight scene that takes place. Like it's super cool. And so for me, like when I read this, there's some, like I mentioned that other one that I read, gosh, like Ship of Fear or something like that. It's like, yeah, it's cool, Boba, but it's okay. But that for me, that got me so excited because I'm like, this is so legit. And hello, Magneto. How's it going, man?
How you doing?
Doing well, man. I am so glad you could make it. This is gonna be so fun.
Mr. Nerds.
Yeah.
Can I do something for you?
For me?
Yes.
Sure.
I'm gonna be right back. I have to pick one. Give me about 30 seconds. We got a live giveaway.
Take 45 seconds.
Only for the people that are here that are supporting your channel. We're gonna do a giveaway of a figure. What do you think?
Ooh, he's trying to clear some space to buy some more
Yeah, I
stuff.
know. We talked about that earlier.
Yeah, I want to feel love to you and your community, man. I love you guys.
Cool.
So I'll be right back.
Awesome. Very cool. Very cool. So T-Money, I don't know what your timetable is like. How are you doing on time?
Yeah, I'm gonna probably head out real soon, but
okay.
This can only mean one thing.
Sorry.
Invasion.
Yeah, sorry, my roommates are in the common area. But no, like, yeah, these Life and Lores are like literally my favorite. Like,
awesome.
I still haven't edited our first Boba one, but that's just because I've been like completely swamped with everything. And I don't know if you saw, but I actually finally got a project that I was working on in the summer. It was a rap video with my friend, and we finally got it released on
awesome
Saturday. And yeah, I'm super excited for that. Or super glad we got that done. But yeah, these are so awesome, and I'm glad you're enjoying the omnibus as well.
Dude, yeah, I really am. And you know, I'm thankful that, you know, I have a copy of that courtesy of you. You know, I'm enjoying going through it. But yeah, even Magneto, if you guys don't know him, I'll make sure that we link to his channel. I'll find it while you're talking, man. You're going through the EU, and I don't know if we saw each other. I don't even know how the connection happened, but through Matt Wilkins, awesome guy. But like I've been wanting to bring you on because you're like, I don't want to say a purist, but like your heart and love for the EU, and you're like, it's really awesome. You're like you and Matt Wilkins are kind of that, like, okay, I've got like the pure EU side, and then there's a more mix. And so
definitely not a hater though. Like I know you guys, a lot of you guys, pretty much everyone on the stream likes a new canon. That's completely okay. I even watched both seasons of Mandalorian. I thought they were okay. It's not really my favorite thing, but yeah, it's just not really for me. But I mean, all the people that enjoy a new canon, it's just more for them to enjoy. So who am I to hate them for that? No, yeah.
Yeah, there's
we'll differentiate that.
But for you, I'm gonna put a link to your channel here for those who don't know you, because you have I'll say this, like let me just pull this up, dude. This is insane to me.
Okay. Just so.
Okay, so this right here. Look at this, man. Look at all of this EU content, dude. Look at this.
Nice.
Been doing it for like a year and a half now.
Dude, and it just keeps going. Like,
how many subs are you at?
It just
206.
Keeps going.
What?
Bro,
it took me like since 2013 though, so it's been a long time.
Dude,
I'm completely in the same boat as you.
Go ahead,
everyone deploy the troops.
Yeah, I got you, buddy.
I was gonna say one week I'm just gonna have to like binge through all your videos.
Yeah, I mean, I saw some
man.
Qui-Gon, so that's definitely gonna be awesome.
Yeah,
I
I had all the
see.
Qui-Gon comics and the
Yeah,
Jedi Apprentice
nice.
series. Those were awesome.
I see
Yeah.
Jango Fett open seasons. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah, I just
Mm.
read that for the first time, and I was like, this is amazing.
It's so
Yes.
sick. If we
Yes.
get like they put in
Thank you.
210.
Or if
Yeah.
you're subbing to him, also thank you.
they had a reference to Jaster in Mando
Mando
season
2.
2. Yeah, so
Talk about somebody
code.
that actually deserves subscribers.
but
Yeah, and so I'm really pumped you can get on even for the last little bit
Yeah.
here. Just
Just
because
at the tail end.
yeah, and yeah, there's just a lot of really great content, and it's you've been super faithful to it, and it's awesome. X-Wing, did you find something?
Yeah, I did. I found one. I found one that I think would be appropriate for the stream. It's not a Boba, but we've been talking about Clone Wars a bit, and I actually love this figure, but I think somebody else would like it more than me. I do have a Dirge coming, but if anybody remembers Tartarovsky's 2003 Anakin Skywalker that comes with his little gold communicator headpiece. Do you guys remember the gold communicator headpiece from Tartarovsky? Comes with the braces, comes with the beautiful lightsaber. They used to do lightsabers way better. There you go.
Dude.
And this is from the collection that came with the Starfighter that you never see.
Awesome.
Also came with an ARC Trooper. Yoda was in this collection. There was also an Asajj. It was the weakest Asajj that came out of it. And actually, the Dirge that came out of this collection, I didn't like. I have a new Dirge coming, but he looked like Master, not Master Splinter, but you see the Dirge there?
Mm-hmm.
Shredder.
he looked like Shredder.
Yeah. That's not the Dirge that I know. So
yeah.
But the Anakin here was actually pretty awesome. The face sculpt is, but the accessories are really cool. The accessories are cool, and my favorite part is the picture on the front of it.
Yeah.
If I can get it to
Actually,
flip,
Hayden.
bam! Look at that. It's Hayden with the gold communicator and the lightsaber and the bracers.
That is so sick.
So cool figure. I think if somebody wants this figure, they have to answer a question, and I will.
Cool, because we could do a question, or we could just do the bot giveaway, the keyword.
No. We have to do a question. Give me a second. I'm going to come up with the question.
Okay, cool. Well, while he's
Watch
thinking
it
of
be
that,
a Rebels question, and I'm
I
just
know.
totally not
Have
doing
it
that.
if you can hear the sound of my voice, at least have it Boba or Anakin. I mean, come on, Boba or Anakin. But T-Money, at any point, if you got to leave, just interrupt.
Yeah. I was just gonna say I'm probably gonna head out right now. But
Okay.
Hope you guys have a great night, and hopefully sometime.
You're good, man. You're good. You're good. Commit. College life, baby.
So sometime in between my studies and stuff, I'll find some free time and I'll be able to hop on for another stream or something, because I love talking with you guys so much. It's so great.
Cool. Awesome,
And
man. Well,
it was great meeting you, Matt. How do you say your
Magneto.
name? Magneto. Okay, Magneto, yeah. Alex. So yeah, I'll check out your channel.
Or Magneto.
Later,
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. Well, take care. Have a great
night.
And,
see you, man.
And Boba hype.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got
ready
your
for the
question?
question?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to bring up another figure. During the Battle of Coruscant, there was a Jedi who carried Senator Palpatine on his back. The species of this Jedi was a...
fuck. Excuse me. I mistyped.
Nope, Strike missed it. I'm watching. I'm watching.
Well, I'm out because I suck at species. So
Do you remember like 6 months ago when I was like, I need to make a
How is it-
video
how
on like
is it-
species?
yeah. I also remember around that time.
Get off
You had, like-
Google Strike.
You had like a community trivia night.
No,
and it
I'm
was
not,
species.
I'm not submitting.
and
Yeah, those are
I bombed and
gonna
tanked.
open back up like very shortly. Because like I have way too many figures right now. Average
That's what. Yeah.
with the towel.
Well,
Finally.
Ladage by seconds. By seconds, dude.
You know what's crazy though is that Average hasn't won. No, because I haven't sent you a figure yet. He finally wins, and it's not even. On the team. Come on.
Congratulations, Average. You won a Anakin figure from the 2003 Clone Wars on a Boba Fett stream.
Beautiful.
Congratulations, bro. That's super generous of you, man.
And this is Clone Wars number 42.
Awesome.
This is kind of why I love this figure. Does nobody remember 42? What is the answer to life? The question, everything.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
42.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the
Nice.
Galaxy. Yeah.
Awesome, man.
Congrats.
T-Money. I know, but I don't want to steal another figure. Awesome. Well, Magnino, what we asked this question, it's kind of at the top. It's kind of open-ended, but I'm super curious for what you think. So Boba Fett for you, like why Boba, especially in context of the EU, man. I mean, you don't have to stick to that, but I know that's like your jam. But like when it comes to Boba, you know, why Boba?
My Boba?
Yeah, like
What do you mean?
what makes you like Boba? You know, because you could easily just relegate him to a B, C character, you know, but like why focus some time on him and be interested in his story and his life and in his lore?
Well, I think, with the context of the whole EU, because like when I watch the movies, like he's the little boy in episode 2, and then he's not around anymore, and then he's in episode 5 and 6, and then he gets beaten up by accident and falls in a Sarlacc pit. So you don't have too much with him. What you see is kind of cool, but he's gone too soon. So I never I always thought he looked cool, but I didn't have too much of a opinion on him when I watched the movies, I guess. And then I got into the EU, and there's a lot of stuff in between, like the movies that I'm missing context on, that I'm trying to get now. But from the grand story that I have of him from when he's a little kid as a clone to all the way until he becomes Mandalore, I think his story is just really interesting, especially when you take into context stuff in like the Legacy of the Force series, which I don't want to spoil anything for people who haven't read that series.
I'd say spoil away. Feel free
It's
to.
been around long enough.
No. Well, he becomes Mandalore, of course, of the Mandalorians, and there's this whole thing with how when he was like, I forget if he was like 16, 17, he ended up like falling in love with this girl. He had a kid with her, but then stuff happened with really crazy stuff that I don't think Disney would ever really get into. Not a diss on Disney because it's families watch this, but bad stuff happened to the girl he loved, and in retaliation he killed the people that did it to her, and so he had to leave Concord Dawn, I think it was, and so he went back to bounty hunting. We see him in the movies and stuff, and he never sees his family. He's just doing the bounty hunting thing for forever. Gets out of the Sarlacc pit, continues bounty hunting, and then he finally gets to meet his there's so much going on in that series. His daughter is interrogated by Jason Solo, who is basically like Kylo Ren but in the EU, and she dies in interrogation, and he doesn't even, at this point he still doesn't even know that, and he gets in this whole thing with meeting his granddaughter and stuff, and I just think all that's it's really crazy, his life, how like famous he is as a bounty hunter, and then to have like this story within a larger story with like Jason becoming a Sith Lord and stuff, of him reconnecting with his family, or with the only family he has anymore, because his dad's long dead.
And just how important he was to that story.
Yeah, training
the
Jaina
of Lucas's story. Yeah.
Yeah. That's I don't know if that made sense or not.
No,
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
dude, it did, and not dismissing at all, just saying hello there to Fulcrum.
Hello.
Jared, you know.
But no, that's what's so fascinating. Like the more I actually get into, just so you know, Nightbot is wrong. We used to do daily Star Wars content. We do not by any means anymore. So ignore that. We do giveaways, but not daily.
Stupid droids.
No, but looking more at Boba, like it'd be easy to just relegate him, like you said, to just a bounty hunter in stories, and just keep him there, keep him in the box in the confines of just the serialization of adventures. But instead, there's this whole. You gotta leave.
Yeah.
Gotta poop.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm on call right now.
Oh dang! Yeah, work calls.
Sorry.
Well, see ya. I'll leave you with this. I think you have something on your face.
Yeah.
Oh,
You're
how'd that get
goddamn
there?
right.
All right. Well, thanks for coming
Alex,
by.
nice to meet you, man.
Nice meeting you too.
Yeah. Strike, homie. Love you, brother. Mr. Nerds, it's been 80 years since we streamed together.
I know. Feels like it.
I feel like every time we see each other on stream, it's like Gandalf and not Frodo, Bilbo meet. Hello, my old friend.
That's so funny, man.
I'll see you again soon, okay?
You haven't
All
aged
right.
today.
See ya.
You guys have a good night, okay? I'll see you.
See ya. Have fun at work.
One
But-
thing I'll say,
Oh.
sorry for
You're good.
I had this in the back of my mind, but I didn't want to forget it. So I did watch Mandalorian season 2, and while I thought it was overall okay, one thing that I thought was very consistent for both canons is how triggered Boba gets when you mention that he's a clone. 'Cause I forget what the context, but I think there was another Mandalorian just talking smack to Boba about his dad and how he's not actually related to him or something like that, and he starts losing it, and I was like, that's very Boba, because that's how he is, and he's has big daddy issues in Legends as well. So
not only in Legends, in canon too. I mean, in Clone Wars, he doesn't like being compared to normal clones at all. At all.
Yeah, and you know that's like the whole thing. Like I love so much about the EU, and in particular Boba. Boba for me, as it all started with me as a kid, just liking him for his looks and the way he acted. I'm like, no one else treated Darth Vader like that in Empire, you know, and like the way that Darth Vader was able to like communicate with him, all of this stuff. And then getting older and, you know, seeing more and more Boba content, but reading more about him in the EU, there's so much stuff that it's just like, it's so fascinating. Like the whole, what is it? The twin engines of destruction, the whole thing with him and Jodocast, like that whole story is just so fascinating for me, because it just screams like classic Boba. And it's like, I feel like that is an appropriate like expansion of who I see in the movies. Like that mystery that I see, I feel like the EU does like a brilliant job of like expanding that. And that's what I hope to see in new stuff. I'm kind of mixed. I enjoy new stuff, but I want to get into the EU a lot more. And that's where like internally I'm like, where do I start to put things, you know, especially when there's overlap. Because I'm like, there's only so much that can stay up here for continuity's sake.
Yeah. That's why I can't like mix canons, because it's like it's just gonna get too confusing. The EU is already confusing enough, and you get to like the Clone Wars, and because like I'm a bit more positive about the Clone Wars than Matt Wilkins is. If you've seen anything, Matt Wilkins is like, he says he's 50-50, but every time he talks about it, he's really negative about it. But I'm more 50-50 with it. Like I really enjoy some episodes, but Filoni did not. I mean, I know that he's adding legend stuff to canon, but he definitely didn't follow the books or anything. And people within the books and comics, they try to like work with each other and make everything fit. He didn't, which is okay. It was whatever. But because of that, when I get to the Clone Wars, it's gonna be a nightmare fitting in his show with the rest of it because I can't just boot it out like some people do. So it's gonna be an interesting time trying to make that all fit. But
Yeah, dude. Yeah, 100%. I get that. I may have already pieced out. I just want to say, see you, Charlie. See you, Darth Maximus. Great having you guys here. Always appreciate anybody stopping by.
I like that name. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's a great name.
I definitely like. I don't by no means. I have no intent and probably never will read close to everything surrounding like the Clone Wars or just the EU. But I do have some things that I read that are now EU, which I really love, and like things like, for instance, Labyrinth of Evil, absolute favorite. Labyrinth of Evil, Dark Lord, great, just perfection. And I must say, even though season 7 of the Clone Wars was goddamn beautiful,
it looked gorgeous.
It looked gorgeous. I was upset that we didn't get to see the Battle of Coruscant. Like Grievous, like sort of like that whole Grievous, like actually getting on Coruscant and like actually taking the Chancellor. Because when you read like Labyrinth of Evil, that whole scene and like how they explain everything, how detailed it is, like how Grievous managed to capture Palpatine, it's so good. And when I think it's the first episode in season 7 when we see like that really short scene of like rework Grievous, and I was like, oh yeah, we gotta get it. It's nothing.
Yeah.
That,
just
so I'm
look pretty,
and like that's probably how you're gonna feel in some cases.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I think is hard with. I don't want to say the future of Boba, but just Boba moving forward, because like there is a lot of established Boba there, and for me, I really love live action stuff. I just do. It's just so easy for me to get engaged. Then it's like books for me.
Yeah.
Because like I can create that in my mind, and I've always found graphic novels a little hard unless they're like super like interesting. It's always a little hard for me, but like the stuff that I've read about Boba, it's just there's so much. I don't know if I want to say like energy or life to it. It's just this level of excitement for me that I think is just incredible. And
I definitely think for a canon they should go out of their way to try to make him maybe not different personality wise, but just veer off in a completely different direction, because I think the more you differentiate it from Legends, the more you can really make it your own. Because if you keep it more along the lines of stories that have already happened, people are going to compare it, and that's just how it's going to be. I mean, people are going to compare it regardless, but I think you'd be more successful just like making it your own thing moving forward.
I get
know
what you're saying, but I feel like that is a dangerous path to go down on.
There's so much I don't know.
I think that's a dangerous path to go down on, although I do understand where you're coming from, and I do agree to an extent, but I think it's dangerous because if you do that with an established character, and now we don't get much, but we do get enough in the OT and the Clone Wars and then the prequels, that Boba is sort of an established character. So there's only so and so much that they can do different until it feels really unnatural. So that's fair. Like the only thing that you always got to keep in mind. Like you can't completely just switch around a character. Like not going into the sequels, but that's pretty much the point where people disagreed on Luke. Because for many people it was too drastic. It just didn't connect. And so that's always like the step that you got to be careful about.
Yeah. I mean, I understand what you're saying. I'm not saying he should be like a completely different character or anything. I just think that the direction his life should go, definitely don't become Mandalore, you know.
In that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
cool.
Just make his story be epic and great in the same way Legends was great, but do your own thing with it. So that way, you can have, Star Wars is vast enough that you could, if you're a good writer, you can make a good story for him that's completely different from the Legends one we got by the end, and make it so people go, okay, here's the really cool canon Boba. Here's what happened to him post episode 6, and it's like a completely branching point from what happened to Boba post episode 6 in Legends.
Right. I think we have a good chance on that, with that happening, because Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau definitely took that route already. I mean, with things that they established, like recently Mount Tantus and Wayland, we're definitely not going to get a direct copy of Heir of the Empire, but we are definitely getting the aspects that were in those stories, but it's definitely going to work out totally different. But like, we get those locations, we get those characters, but I'm pretty sure we're going to get a different story that is still going to be great. At least I hope so. Yeah, I think we definitely got a good chance that they go on that direction, that they take characters. It's probably not going to be the stories that you have read and loved, but I think it's still going to be dope.
Yeah, and that's what's so interesting. And I think what we can do even here, we can even close with some like final comments on Boba. Maybe we can just do like the thing that you love most about Boba. If you had to pick a singular moment in the life and lore of Boba, like what would you say, is your favorite? Just because for me, I think that's what's hard is when we start getting into loved characters, and even someone like Boba. I mean, I'm not gonna say Boba's on the level of Luke or Han or Chewie or anything like that. But when you get into characters that people are so invested in, they want stories done right, and they want them done a certain way. And I think Star Wars has the interesting challenge of having so many different types of stories that they can go different directions. Like you don't see like Harry Potter sticking with like the creator, right? So it's like, even if they get into like, what is the Fantastic World of Beasts or whatever it is, like it's still centered around Harry Potter, where I feel, or like the original intent, where I feel what it was hard when there was the change of ownership. There's a lot of similarities, but for a while there was a ton of differences, and it frustrated people. And I feel like people kind of like myself, who are in the position of like, I'm open to things, but I've also been burned. I guess I'm a little jaded, so I'm a little cautious, and I'm like, there's a rich, strong history of the EU that's like just for Boba, I'm like, that's safe for me. I'll go there because I know it's like super strong, and I'm not gonna get burnt again, if that makes sense. So that's kind of like where I'm at with Boba. Like, I'm excited for the live action, but then I'm also like, I'm gonna sink my teeth seriously into tons and tons of Boba content, and in that, man, that pumps me up. But look at this shapeshifter Boba Fett.
Hey, listen.
The best
Can we get a
sounding.
Polynesian spot?
Sam Wessel still alive?
Oh man. So let's do this. Just the closing thoughts. What are your guys's? I know this is a almost impossible question, but if you had to pick a singular moment in the life and lore of Boba, what would you say is your favorite?
That's tough.
Right, you're right. It's an impossible question. All right, thank you guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
How about one of the top 10
All right,
that come to mind? And we'll put a disclaimer here. This is not your favorite, but one of the top 10, or just like the first one that you're like, yep, I love that about Boba.
You know what? I'll just go with. People must get bored of me saying that, because I think I bring that scene up so many times. But that scene when Chewie breaks loose and Boba raises his blaster, I don't know what's up with that, but that scene just, like that, and probably the Luke one, just like the Empire Strikes Back scenes, Boba in general. I don't know, they just they connected with me, and like I think that really formed the character for me, and those were probably like the also in a way subtle and at the same time most badass scenes probably.
And yeah, dude, that scene is just so crazy because you see Vader choke people out. You see the way he interacts with people, and you have the Sith Lord, Darth Vader, just like, hold on,
Hold
like
on, buddy.
it's such an interesting contrast. And I don't know if you heard, Magneto, I just read Enemy of the Empire today, that graphic novel, or that comic rather, in series in the omnibus, and just seeing like the first interactions or the first commission from Boba and Vader, like that added so much more weight to that scene for me too, just because it's like I'm starting to see the history before that moment where like they've worked together and Vader knows what Boba's capable of. It's cool.
Right. I'll just add one more, and then I'm done.
Go for it.
And if, like, that just plays into like the Empire Strikes Back, seems like subtle but effective. Like just the fact that like Boba's like casually being like, well, Captain Solo is mine, right? Like sort of, and Vader's like, yeah, you'll get it. Yeah, like stand on the side, and then like, it's not gonna kill him, is it? Like, he's gonna be totally fine. Like he's no good to me dead. Like just that like interaction, like Boba just giving no shit at all about what Vader's going to say, and Vader's like, all right, my dude, yeah, you'll get him.
Yeah, they almost talk like buddies. Like it's such a strange relationship.
Yeah.
Like
I don't know if. Sorry,
go ahead.
continue.
No, go.
Okay. I don't know if maybe I know George at some point had like this weird plan of making Boba the brother of Darth. I don't know if that had anything to do with how they interacted, but it definitely makes sense now with the new way we look at it. So
that's cool. That's a great pick, man. I love that. So what about you, Magneto? What would you say one of your many moments are for Boba?
Well, all the episode 5 stuff is like the obvious choice. So I'm gonna go with something that isn't really epic, but I think the shot that I saw growing up, because I'm a Gen Xer, so I'm a little baby boy. But one thing that for some reason it stood out to me was in episode 2, after his father gets his head chopped off, and he holds the helmet. For some reason, that sad moment for him stuck with me. I don't know why. But I think that's definitely a defining moment for him in terms of who he'd become. And then, of course, because I'm the EU guy, when he decides to help the heroes in New Jedi Order and helps Han and friends get away from the Vong, which is definitely a series worth reading if you have not, though. Highly recommend reading all the books preceding it, because I think you'll get more out of it that way. But yeah, those are my two.
That's awesome, man.
Awesome.
Yeah, those are good picks.
Yes.
I'm starting to hate my own question, to be honest with you.
Yes. All right.
No,
What
you
is
gotta answer it.
your pick?
I was like, do I just not answer because it's so difficult? Yeah, I think for me it's two scenes side by side in episodes 5 and 6. The one is him standing. I can't do it because I'm sitting, but him standing by the table, in that banquet hall or whatever with Vader, and then you have him standing next to Jabba in Jabba's palace. And I love those two scenes, and not that they like change a lot in terms of like lore or anything, but it just shows that his allegiance is basically, it's where the money is, and that he's out for himself, and he calls the shots, but he's employed by like the Empire, and he's employed by one of the most dangerous men in the galaxy, and then he's employed by gangsters. And so for me, I liked seeing both of that, because it's not like he's an Imperial and he's not really a gangster. He's a bounty hunter, and that really got me fascinated when I'm like, I just remember as a kid, like no one else was like that, no one else.
Greatest bounty hunter.
Yeah, and so that was incredible for me. But let me read this last comment here from Christopher. I see a few more here, but I didn't read this all the way. But let's just read it live. So Christopher says Boba's name has quite the history. Fett is actually corruption of the Mandalorian word vet, meaning farmer. Yep, the BA bounty hunter feared across the galaxy is named Bob the Farmer.
Read open seasons, and then you'll know
That's
what's
funny.
up.
That's funny, man. But yeah, it's yeah, here we go. Sandman, I said last one, but the helmet being the only image Boba needs of his father, probably because all the incredible feats achieved are done only whilst wearing the helmet. Yeah, and that can be an affinity more for the armor. The last time interacted with his dad with armor. Powerful stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. But hey, thanks everybody for going. We went longer than 2 hours. This was a lot of fun. We had a giveaway, had people filter in and out, and I'm so glad you got to be here, Magneto. It's awesome, man.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, but I'm gonna, you know what? Just for the sake of it, I'm gonna roll the Boba intro one more time, and then I'll close this out, and you guys can feel free to stick around and say goodbye afterwards, or you can peace out. But let's roll this. Thanks everybody for being here.
Please turn your listening devices all the way up.